Thank you. I got it.
I got it? All right.
It's on?
All right.
Always.
Perfect. So welcome everyone to our talk tonight. Manny is going to be presenting a talk on tension tonight, but first we will start with an opening prayer. So let's close our eyes, open our hearts, feeling the presence of the good spirits here with us, feeling the presence of our guardian angels, allowing ourselves to become fully present in this moment to all of the good vibrations that are here involving us now. And we give thanks for this opportunity to come together with the intention to learn more about how we can evolve as spirits, as eternal souls, to learn more about how we might be able to manage the tension in our lives in a way that allows us to evolve and to treat ourselves with kindness during this process. And so we open our minds, we open our hearts, we open our souls, making ourselves accessible to the possibility of renewal, knowing that mental renewal is the renewal of life. And so with that, we ask for permission to open this meeting. And so it is. And Manny. Is Manny here? Okay, it's in the back. Okay. So while I'm here and waiting for Manny, if any of you have ever felt tension, we're going to learn about what that is tonight. And here he comes.
Thank you so much. All right, thank you so much for the introduction. Hope you guys can hear me okay. So yes, tonight I'm going to be talking about tension in general, just some things that I've been thinking about. And for me, honestly, the hardest thing about these talks.
I think the microphone is on.
Okay, he's got to turn it off back there. Yeah. Totore. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, one of the hardest things about okay. Yeah, because then. For the translation also. Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you. All right, all mic'd up now. All right, sounds better. All right. So for me, honestly, one of the hardest part about these talks is how I'm gonna start it, how I'm gonna open up, because it's whenever I start getting ready for a talk, you have all these ideas and things you want to talk about, but the hardest part, besides having the courage to get up here, in front of everybody, is just how are you gonna start, the topic. And really, what I was thinking about is just, the past 2-3 years, everything that's been going on, with COVID. We had, the George Floyd incident, and we had the protests, and we had riots for different reasons. First it was, Trump, and then Biden, and it's just it's been a nonstop just tension, and it feels like everyone is just on edge and kind of at odds with each other, and just feels like just constant tension all the time. So I was thinking about that, and I was gonna just talk about some different things, and that was the idea for the talk tonight. So right now, on this planet, we're more mixed up and more connected than ever before, which is a good thing, But it's almost as if we're all sitting at a table and we all have the freedom to speak our mind, and we're all speaking at the same time, because everyone wants to be heard. So it's difficult to get your ideas across and and be heard and listen to everyone when everyone is trying to speak at the same time and trying to express their ideas. But I think it's a testament to how truly free we are, especially in this country. Some other countries not so much, but especially in this country, everyone has a voice, everyone wants to be heard, everyone's respected, and it just seems that now we're at a time where everyone has that freedom, they have that voice, and we're all hearing them at the same time. So it kind of feels like there's a lot of tension and a lot of disharmony, but maybe this is where we need to be at this point to grow, to evolve, learn about each other, and move forward and progress. But that tension that we feel sometimes, it's really uncomfortable. Especially when you are dealing with people on a personal level or like an individual level. Whenever there's a disagreement with someone, or someone takes offense, even if you weren't intending for that to happen, it's a very uncomfortable feeling. And it's uncomfortable because you feel like you need to say something to that person. You feel like there's something that needs to be said, but that person might not be willing to hear what you want to say. They might not be ready to hear what you want to say. They might not be willing, and they might have their own issues. They might have some type of resentment towards you. But the most important thing is that, we approach the situation, with compassion and try to understand where the other person is coming from. And just to try to listen, but it's not always easy, because a lot of times to stay calm in these situations, these people. It's almost like they're on autopilot, right? Like so many times when you speak to someone, they have these pre-programmed responses. They have these answers that you're almost expecting to hear, right? Like if someone says something negative, they're almost expecting you to react in a certain way, right? And I've seen this happen in my life too, when, after, learning different things at the center and learning things about myself and trying to, be more calm in situations. I've noticed that sometimes people will try to cause conflict or cause drama, and you try to stay calm, and then they get almost angry at you because you're trying to, stay calm in that situation, and they're trying to push their buttons and get you to react in a certain way, and then you try to stay calm and try to, keep the peace, and they're getting upset about that. And it's so funny. I've seen it happen at my job, and it's because there's been some interesting situations, and I've noticed that. Being calm can be very difficult, and trying to be the bigger person can be very difficult at times. And it's almost as if you're kind of riding this line of indifference almost, and trying to be compassionate and trying to be understanding. So it's not that you're trying to like block everything out, but you're trying to be the bigger person. But that almost triggers some people, because there are a lot of people who they feed on that negative emotion. They want to get like a rise out of you. That, like the saying goes, they want to try to see how you're going to react. So it's very difficult to keep calm sometimes. And there's this very interesting kind of idea that Jordan Peterson talks about. He's a psychologist. And I'm bringing it up too because he wrote a book called 12 Steps for Life, and it sounds really cheesy because he has some really like silly like general ideas and like rules in the book, but they actually have like a bigger meaning. And one of the rules that he was made fun of was clean your room, which is like the most basic thing that you hear growing up. It's like, can you clean your room, please? But the reason for that is because he is trying to present the idea that you should clean up your own personal space before you go and try to change everything around you, first. So there was an interesting story that he talked about there was some students living in like a dorm room, like a shared house, and one of the students in the shared space, like they kind of cleaned up their own area. They cleaned up their own room because everything was a mess, and they took care of everything and put everything nice in their room. And then the other people in the house, they got mad at that person because they were like, "What are you doing? Why are you cleaning your room? Like, you think you're better than us? Like, you think you're more important than us?" And that wasn't the reason. The reason was that person was trying to clean up their own life. That person was trying to move themselves forward, trying to put themselves in a better place. And the people that were around that person were taking offense to that. And they were kind of feeling their own insecurity by projecting that person was thinking that they were better than them, but really it was the other way around. They were feeling inferior to that person trying to better their life, and they were trying to bring that person back down to their level. So I brought it up because it's a very simple idea to clean your room, to clean up your own space, but it's something so small that you can do, and it's something that you have control over. Sorry, I have sweat in my eye now. But it has such a huge effect on your life, and it can really move you forward by taking those small first steps, those small things that you can change. It helps you move forward in your life. But the thing is that when you try to make those small changes in their life, the reason why they're so difficult is because we are truly in this together. We all are one greater family. And you can't necessarily change yourself too much to where you are separated from that family. You can progress and you can evolve, but in a way you can't leave other people behind, because then once you get to the finish line, thank you, I appreciate that. Once you get to the finish line, you're basically there by yourself, right? So yeah, imagine you're running the race, of life, and let's say you reach some type of perfection in your personal life, and you're feeling good about yourself, but then you look around and nobody's there with you because you left everybody behind. There's a responsibility that we have to bring other people up, to support them, to bring them with us, and it's almost very, very selfish to think about that. How many times do we hear about evolved spirits or elevated spirits, and they have lived their life on Earth and they've learned lessons, and then they have the option of going somewhere else or coming back to the planet Earth, right? They choose to come back a lot of times to planet Earth because they want to help other people here, the suffering people, the people who need help. They want to support them and help them get to the finish line, or whatever. There isn't an actual finish line. The finish line is very far away, but just the idea of it is helping others move forward and progress together, help us all move forward together as one family. So it's very difficult to change the things, to change yourself in your life based on what's around you, based on your environment, because we're all in this together. I don't know how many more times I can say it. That's why human evolution is so slow, because we're not only moving ourselves forward, but we're helping others move forward too. We're helping others progress. So this is a little excerpt from Spiritism in its simplest expression by Allan Kardec. It says, "Through selfishness, people are in eternal conflict, while through charity, they will be at peace. If charity alone constitutes the basis of human institutions, people's happiness in this world will be guaranteed." So right there, it's just saying, if we all just did one thing, if we were all just more charitable, everyone's life would be easier. I've heard it said before that life is easy and people make it complicated. Maybe that's not 100% true, but it definitely is a huge part of it. We complicate things. We cause conflicts with other people, with ourselves. We think the world is against us. We sometimes choose the easier, more negative path when, being more charitable, being more forgiving would solve the situation. But we have, we're attached to our ego, we're attached to our pride, and we a lot of times choose to grip onto those things because we just want to be right. We want to feel, proud of ourselves. But charity, love, and compassion, those are the things that we need to embrace. And speaking of the race, the race of life, and all of us, trying to reach the finish line together, this is one of my favorite writings, because so often we ask, why are we here? What are we doing? Where are we going? This is a writing from A Course in Miracles, from the preface, and it says, "Our brothers' needs become our own because they are taking the journey with us as we go to God. Without us, they would lose their way, and without them, we could never find our own." I think this, for me, this sums up humans on this planet in the simplest way. It's, when we ask these questions, why are we here? What are we doing? Why do bad things happen? It's because we're all taking a journey together. We're all trying to reach the same goal. Some people are more ahead than others, and we all have to help each other. So that's very powerful for me. So why do we dwell on anger, right? Why do we dwell on these negative emotions? It's a survival mechanism. We connect to those feelings because those are more dense feelings that we feel. They're so easy to feel, those feelings, right? The anger, the negativity. Those are what we grew up with in our primitive, life, in our primitive stages, and we can connect to those easily. Sometimes when we feel angry at something, we feel powerful. It gives us like a meaning, like a purpose. And especially when it's against another person, it's like that person did something to me, so I'm gonna, get revenge or get them back. And it just feels so powerful, and your ego kind of takes over. It makes you feel good, and it gives you like a purpose. But it's very difficult to rise yourself above that, but it's easy to dwell on those emotions because they're so familiar to us. They're what we're used to. Like I said, it's a survival mechanism. Something bad happens to you in your life, and you get angry, and then that forces you to react in a certain way. And it's a negative reaction, but it's an action, and you feel like it's moving you forward, and it controls you. It takes you over. It's difficult to get out of that routine, that cycle of feeling. So we dwell on negative emotions more easily because they're just what we have experienced more. It's difficult to keep ourselves in a higher state of thinking, in a higher place. So this next slide is about sadness, and it is pretty sad. But I thought it was powerful because a lot of people, they feel this way, and I'll read what it says. This is from the Spiritist Review from June 1860. So sadness. It is wrong to frequently give in to sadness. Make no mistake, sorrow is a firm and honest feeling that hurts people right in the heart. People understand that movement is needed to maintain life, but don't understand that suffering is needed to exercise moral qualities. Happiness, or simply joy, is such a brief guest of humanity that you cannot withstand it without having been crushed, however slight it may be. This was received by a medium. It explained in the Spiritist Review, and it gave like a little bit of information about the medium. The medium, because the message was very sad and very emotional, and the medium who received this message was a very serious medium. the journal said. And so a lot of spirits that were suffering in this way, they would come to her for, consolement, because she would take on these spirits. She was very serious about her work. She was very serious about her life. So she would sometimes receive these types of messages of deeply suffering spirits. So that's a little bit of backstory about that. And in a way, the message is true, because if we didn't feel sad, we wouldn't be alive, right? If everything was so happy and so nice and fun, there really wouldn't. I mean, I don't want to say there wouldn't be reasons to living, but it would be very difficult for us to grow, right? Without those challenges in our life. And it makes me think about the movie The Matrix. I'm a big fan of the movie. Hopefully you all are familiar with the movie. I think it's a very popular movie. But in The Matrix, it talks about the machine programs were talking to Morpheus, and he was saying that one of the original programs for humans, because remember, all the humans were subjugated into this program, and they were giving energy to the machines. He said one of the first programs that they wrote was a perfect utopia for all of humans, and they all rejected it because there was no challenge in life. Everybody was just happy, and I think that that's really a reflection of what we experience here on this planet. If everything was happy and perfect, and hopefully we'll go to a place like that someday, right? But right now we need those challenges in our life. Another interesting example is conflict in marriages. I heard that they did this study on married couples, and they found that there had to be some level of conflict in every successful marriage. Marriages where people were getting along like all the time. I mean, it does happen sometimes. There's always exceptions, but a lot of successful marriages, they had to have just the right amount of conflict in them so that both parties could, kind of, I guess, flex their muscles. I don't know. But it was almost like a healthy amount of conflict. So it wouldn't be like an overwhelming amount of conflict. It would be you would have certain situations where you agree on a lot of things, and then you would have once in a while you had things where you would disagree and you would kind of challenge each other, and then in that way you would learn and you would grow together. But conflict in that sense was very important for the health and the development of a strong marriage. I'm only speaking from what I've read. I'm not married myself, so. So right now on this planet, we are connected more than we have ever been. It's almost like we have a completely open communication with each other, right? We have the internet, we have Twitter, we have social media, and in a way I see it, it's almost like the spirit world, right? So in the spirit world, you can't hide your emotions, right? You can't hide what you're feeling. Everything is on display for everyone to see, right? If you're willing to see it. And the way that I see social media and the internet is it's almost like an interface that allows us to express what we're feeling. And what we're doing is, a lot of the times, is that we're connecting with those negative emotions that are so easy for us to connect with, and that's what we're displaying. Like, how many times do you hear somebody say, oh, I'm getting off of social media, I'm getting off of Twitter, I'm getting off of Facebook? It's always so negative. It's because we're so easy to connect to those feelings, and those feelings get stronger responses, they get instant responses. But in a way, it's almost as if we're displaying our inner feelings openly, almost like the spirit world, and that is causing us to evolve in a certain way. Like, I think that this stage is necessary for us. Everything seems to be so negative, right? like to be honest, I'm scared to post on social media. Like I don't post a lot because I'm afraid of like negative responses. Like I don't want somebody to like say something mean to me and then I'm like, oh, and I'm never gonna, you know, I'm like terrified of that thing. So I don't post anything.
Turn off your comments.
Oh, there you go. You can turn off your comments. Yeah. See, that's smart. That's smart. But then, are you really interacting with anybody, right? And then, you know, that's the thing. It's like almost going to the spirit world, and then you're on display, but like you turn off everybody else's comments, right? It doesn't work that way. I mean, you have that option here, of course. But yeah, and so yeah, I'm terrified of that. So I don't post anything. But when you see all of these comments and like you see Twitter and like it's like everyone says it's so nasty and you know and Facebook and all this stuff. I mean not everything, but you know like it's very easy to fall in those traps. But when you see all these negative responses and like people you know at odds with each other and you know all these you know the left and the right politically and Democrats and conservatives, it feels like you know like things are like it's gonna like explode, right? Like I don't know what you guys listen to, but you know people talk about the possibility of a civil war. You know, I mean you can bring in you know Trump into it, and like if he runs again, people are like, oh, it's gonna be so bad, and you know everyone is like it's like two different teams, you know, competing with each other, you know, and it's not good. But I don't think that it's I don't think it would be so bad that it would explode like a volcano. I don't think it would come to something like a civil war where we would see war on the streets fighting. I think that what we're seeing with social media is almost like a simmering volcano. So there's different types. I studied environmental science. I always have these like weird like environmental analogies and nature analogies. But instead of it being like an explosive like volcano, like exploding all at once, it's almost like a slow volcano. Like this would be called like a shield volcano. So think of like Hawaii. Like they don't really have a lot of explosive volcanic eruptions, and they have really slow you know eruptions that kind of form, you know, over time, the land and different formations. I think that this is how I see a lot of the negativity on social media right now. It's instead of it being like a huge explosion, it's simmering out, and this is kind of happening in a way that we are evolving so we can better control our emotions and move forward from that. Yes.
Yeah, I find it interesting that you bring the image of a volcano eruption, because the soil around the volcano is the best soil in the world. So what appears to be a conflict, and it is a conflict or it's like a crash of different opinions, it can produce a very fertile soil, the best soil actually in the world.
Yeah, that's a great point. I wasn't even thinking about that. So yeah, they say the trial by fire, right? So this is what we're doing. We're burning ourselves, we're burning each other, and then what's going to be left is going to be this new, beautiful, fertile land. But we have to go through this painful process first. And like I was saying before, it always seems like things are a lot worse than what they are, but it's a necessary point. It's a necessary step. All this negativity that we're seeing, it's out in the open, and it's going to help us grow in a way that we're going to all better ourselves. Eventually, we'll get to the point where you know we'll be sick of being mean to each other, and then you know we'll evolve. You know, slowly, but we'll evolve. You know, it's very easy to point the finger at other people and you know different groups and things like that, and to remove yourself from you know the equation. But you know we're all in this together. You know, like you know when I see you know something negative, you know I'm more inclined to click on it than something positive, right? And this is like a science. This is what social media is based on. That's why we see so much like this person said that, and you know this person owned this person, and all these things, because those are what drives traffic. Those are what gets the attention. That first initial negative response always gets the most looks. But it's very easy to remove yourself and say, "Oh, I'm not doing that." But I think we all are. This is why we're seeing what we're seeing. Because we are contributing to everything around us. Everything we do, everything we say, everything we think. Every time you click on something, every time you think something, we're contributing to this, and we're all in the same boat together. That's why I was saying before how it's so hard to change, because you can't change necessarily everything around you. Everything is going to happen slowly. Everything is going to happen in its proper time. Everything is going to happen when everyone is ready for it. So slowly, when we suffer and we keep suffering, we eventually will get to the point where we're tired of suffering, and we're able to take the next steps forward. So I actually wanted to start doing something for my talks, and it was bringing some ideas that kind of coincide with like Spiritism and things that we're talking about, but it's from like an unlikely source. So you, Luigi, you don't get to answer first, because I know you're going to know this. This is from a song, and I'm gonna read it to you guys, because I think that it really means a lot to what we learn here in Spiritism. All that is, was, and will be, universe much too big to see. Time and space never ending, disturbing thoughts, questions pending. Limitation of human understanding. Too quick to criticize, obligation to survive, we hunger to be alive. All that is, ever, ever was, will be ever, twisting, turning through the never. Actually, you don't answer either, Raphael. Does anybody know who sings this song? All right, Luigi. You know who it is, right? No? Oh, it's Metallica.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I do.
You knew it? Okay.
Nothing else bad me.
No, it's Through the Never. Through the Never is the name of the song. Yeah, so like sometimes I'll be listening to a song, and Metallica, they're a heavy metal band, and I heard this song one day, and I was like, man, it's like, everything they're saying is like so deep. Like it's just.
I was too young at the time of Metallica. Sorry.
Come on, man. You still listen to them. Too young. Yeah, so sometimes I'll hear a song and I'm listening to it and I say, man, it's like, I bring this up because I can't say it enough how connected we are on this planet, how connected our thoughts are. We all share the same ideas. Like the same ideas keep getting reused and recycled. Thoughts travel, thoughts are out there, and we connect to them. And we have to choose, what we decide, what we want to think, what we want to live, how we want to be. So yeah, to me, I think it's awesome, that when you hear like a heavy metal band singing about things like this, and this isn't the only example. There are many others. And some of them could be mediums too, receiving messages. There are ways of ideas permeating through all of different cultures. You don't have to necessarily be here at the Spiritist Center, reading and studying. These ideas are going to find their way through all of our different culture, through all different mediums, and I mean mediums like film and art. It's going to find its way through because it's the truth, and it's something that we can't avoid. It's very powerful, these messages, and we can't hide from them, and it's they'll find their way through, whether you're here at the Spirit Center or whether you're listening to heavy metal. So I just like to bring that up. As human beings, we have the power to shape the reality around us and ourselves. We don't just react like other organisms that are just trying to survive. We do react, but we have power over our thoughts. We are able to control our actions. We have influence, and we have to decide. And that is the end of my talk. Thank you. So before I finish, I always open the floor to questions if anybody has anything to ask about what I talked about or volcanoes or anything else. But yeah,
Funny one.
yeah, yeah. Anything else? No. Okay. All right. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Oh, sorry. That's good. I was nervous, man. I was nervous.
A beautiful talk about tension and all of the forces and the energies that we're all processing it, on our beautiful earthly walk here, and also the opportunity we have, the choice points that we have at any moment to choose how we want to respond, to choose whether we're going to respond from a place of peace or from another place. So as we prepare for the passes, we actually have some reminders. This is the first time I've done this. Yes. Reminders. So our first reminder is, I have to click? Our first reminder is, I have to aim this way, don't I? Okay, barbecue in the park. That was fun. We were there. Oh, wait, hold on, let me go back. Okay, mediumship study group in English. That would be, I'm in that group. It's quite lovely. Manny leads that one, and it's every Wednesday night right before this meeting. And so we're hopeful that those of you that are English speakers that are willing to participate in that study will please come. It just takes place right before this meeting. And then the Tuesday night, does anybody know, does Cynthia do this remotely, or she does it remotely? Perfect. Okay, I haven't been to it yet. Has anyone been on the Tuesday night meditation? Okay, so it's good. I should come? Yeah, you should. Okay. We've got people in the back too. And meditation is also one of the best ways that we have to really practice managing our thoughts. I think that's the hardest part I think we have in being able to apply what we've learned, is to be able to allow our minds to work in harmony with what we're learning and then put it into action. And meditation helps us to do that. And then on Thursday nights, this is tomorrow, every Thursday we have spiritual treatment at 7 p.m. and where you can come and receive treatment, have an opportunity to study the gospel, have your water magnetized, and be treated for the various ills that we suffer from. And I started. I think a few weeks ago, or maybe, no, a couple of months ago. I feel like I'm probably going to be in spiritual treatment forever. So, I just really love being in that energy of healing. And then on Fridays is the spiritual surgery. You would speak to Luigi to, if you have something, an ailment that you would like to have the spiritual doctors here of the center treat, you can request that treatment, and that takes place on Fridays at 6:30. You can speak to Luigi about that. And then every Monday and Saturday, Mondays at 8 p.m. and Saturdays at 6:30, there are the public meetings where you can also, if you're an English speaker, there's the live translation into English. I have to say, as someone who's been the beneficiary of that, that is a beautiful service. So our translators, I give deep thanks for that, because if you could imagine doing a simultaneous translation of someone who's talking really fast, that amazes me. So I think Cynthia, I was here for the magnetism class. That was the whole weekend. And I was like, I love y'all so much for doing this for me. I think I was probably one of the only person with the headphones. That's love. There's a lot of love here. That's love. And then our yard sale. So we just had it on the 11th. So I believe it's the second Saturday of the month. So I don't know what that is in May. I think we just need the updated date for May. I don't think it's May 11th, but this is March. But you get the idea. It's the second Saturday of the month. And then that Friday beforehand, there's opportunities to volunteer, to sort out all of the donations. And then Saturday mornings, it'd be wonderful to have the volunteers to help us get everything organized. So that is an opportunity. And you can talk to Karen. May 14th is the actual date. And then May 13th would be the Friday that you could come in, and Friday the 13th, and come and help organize the donations. And then on Saturdays, we have our delicious dinners. And I believe, Ana Lucia, I think it's you that people contact to sign up for the dinner. It doesn't ever have a number on here. So for the dinners on Saturdays? No? Who is the person doing? Okay, you all will see on a picture to order that dinner. And then, of course, we can we offer magnetized water. So many of you had already placed your bottles there. You can always have your water magnetized at any of our meetings. And we know that the power of magnetism can actually shift the chemical composition of the water in a way that creates a medicine for us for our mental, physical, and spiritual needs. And I do think that is the end of the announcements. So let's get ready to prepare for the passes. I think for those who've already brought up your water, that's good. So we can just close our eyes and open our hearts and begin to feel a sense of gratitude. Feeling our hearts open like a flower, feeling a deep gratitude for the blessings of the lessons that we learned today, the feeling of gratitude for the blessings of being in community together with the intention to evolve. We open ourselves to the possibility of healing and transformation, which starts in our minds. So we allow in this moment for our minds to begin to soften and relax, thinking about the tremendous abundance of good that is present right here in this moment. Thinking about the gratitude we have for this opportunity, for this incarnation, for us to begin to evolve and really begin to learn how to love. And so we give thanks to the spiritual mentors of this center who have prepared this space for us, for our guardian angels who are always helping us. We give thanks for our good friend Jesus, the master who really has brought us the messages of love and charity that we learn today are the path to peace. And in this moment, we claim peace as our truth. We give thanks for the presence of peace and love in this moment. We give thanks for the opportunity to receive beautiful healing magnetic energy through the passes. And we give thanks in this moment that we said yes to being here tonight. And so in the spirit of gratitude, we ask for permission to end this work tonight. So be it.